Hello, Scorpio. This is going to be your March monthly reading. A little bit of a change of setup here, I know. Scorpio, as you know, if 90% of what I'm saying does not resonate for you, then please don't take the message. I say 90% because I want to avoid any confusion, any, walking away, getting more stuck in your situation than you need to be, okay? If 90% of it resonates, what that means is 90% of what I say makes sense, and it's like a click moment for you. It's an epiphany, like, oh yeah, that's that person, that's that situation, that's that energy. It's very clear for you, okay? You don't have to guess or think or get confused by trying to put all this mental power into like, does that work? Does that make sense? Is that right? We don't do the energies like that, okay? If I am channeling the energy, I will try to let you know. I have a hard time remembering to tell you, because if I do, and it interrupts the channeled message, then I forget it like that. It's crazy. So I will try to do that. And this is a predictive read, so it will be difficult for it to resonate, but it will make sense for your situation, okay? If it's for you, and you will know, okay? Pisces, sorry, I just did Pisces, that's why I said that. So Scorpio, I am using for the March readings the the Art of Adventure Tarot deck. So I got this deck on pre-order from Etsy. Highly recommend. It's got a lot of visualizations. Every single time that I look at the graphics on this, anytime I use the card, I always get a different energy or a different message in every card, no matter how many times I've seen it. I always notice something more, something different. So I love this deck here, and it totally inspired me to want to make my own deck, just because of just how brilliant it is. Every time I look, I notice something different, and it doesn't feel too cluttered either. So enough about selling that. So you can find it on Etsy, the Art of Adventure Tarot. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into it. Yeah. Okay. What does Scorpio need to know for March? What does Scorpio need to know for March? When I was trying to shuffle your guys' deck to prepare for the reading, just to mix up the energies here, I kept getting a lot of Ten of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Four of Wands, those kind of cards. So first one out is Nine of Wands. What does Scorpio need to know for March? What does Scorpio need to know for March? Knight of Wands. Scorpio need to know for try to make sure none of those fell. King of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles. Ooh. Tisk, 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 Scorpio. Are you working away and having all work and no play? What I'm going to do is go ahead and read the energy that is here, and then we will clarify what needs to be clarified. So starting off with this Nine of Wands energy, Scorpio, I feel like there is something that you're realizing. The energy that I'm picking up from this card, you're realizing something, whether it's something that is around you, something that is within you, something about where you work, something about someone that you know. There's some kind of recognition, realization about something where you are seeing some kind of truth. You're having this realization about something here, and it's it's worrisome. It's freaking you out a little bit. How did I not see this before? A little bit of that energy, but mostly it's just this scares me. This worries me. This, I get not fear, but it's just totally taken aback, but in a negative way. Not wow, that's amazing I never would have guessed. It's whoa, I never would have guessed. What do I do now? I feel like I'm in the shit. How do I get out of the shit? Because I just noticed something, and I want nothing to do with it. This is not good. Not good, not good, not good. That's the energy I'm getting here. Just not good. Not good. Stay away from me. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm good. You're good. You stay there. I'm going to stay over here. I get just a lot of I just want to distance myself away from this thing, this person, this situation, whatever this is here. You notice something, you realize something about it, and you're just like, I just want to go the other way. I don't want anything. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. And then we have the Knight of Wands as the next energy here. And I feel like this Knight of Wands is like a relief of, now that I've seen it, now that I know what it is, I've realized something, I've seen it for what it is, I noticed this thing, now that I've got that out of the way, I am really sure about moving in this direction. It's almost like if you have two options, you were exploring option A, and then you realized whatever this is, and you were like, oh, fuck, like, I am good on option A, like, I want nothing to do with that, I am good. And because of that strong awareness that you don't want option A, you have a realization of, like, I am 100% with option B. I want option B completely, totally, 100 million, thousand, trillion %. I want option B. No more second guessing it, no more doubting it, no more needing to check out any other options. Like, this experience has really cleared the path for you to know, like, this is the way you need to go. This is the direction you need to go in. And you're very clear about that. And Spirit helped orchestrate this to guide you down the right path, because that path is where you'll have luck, where you'll have abundance, happiness, fulfillment. That path is the right path for you. While you were exploring other things, they had to create a situation for you that would be so intense, that would be so clear, that it would send you running down the right path. Like, there's no question about this path anymore because of whatever happened here, okay? And then we move into the King of Swords, and it's like, okay, now that I'm going down this path, there's an energy of, tricky here. There's an energy of, I don't know how I'm getting this. I don't know, like, I'm feeling the energy, but I'm not seeing how to articulate it yet. Give me just a minute here, Scorpio. It's like, I just keep getting tricky. Like, this is a tricky energy. I'm trying to figure out, is this your energy or is this someone else's energy? It's very tricky. It's your energy. It's your energy for sure. But it's tricky. Why is it tricky? Why is it tricky? We're gonna come back to this one. They're like, no, you're not. Okay, we're not. Help me out here. So I was trying to get more before I started to say that this is what it was, but it's like they're not giving me more, but they're affirming, like, Spirit's affirming for me, like, yeah, that's the energy, that's right, what you want to say is right, but they're not giving me more to elaborate. There is a disconnect in your energy as you go down this path that you're absolutely 100% meant to go down. It's a tricky path because, okay, thank you. As I say it, like, now they're elaborating more. It's a tricky path because as you're going down this path, there's a lot of things that are going to resemble past situations, that are going to resemble things that you might unconsciously or consciously be fearful of. There's going to be things that on this path look very similar and make you feel very similar to situations that happened in your past that were not so good. And it's going to want to make you block out these situations. It's going to make you want to run away from them, block them out, like, not allow them, like, almost question the path that you're on. It's going to make you want to go back away from the path. Like, you're already on the path, and these things these things just start popping up, and it's like, this feels too familiar. This feels like I've done this before. It's triggering for you. There's a lot of triggering on this path as you're going down this path. This is the right path for you, 100 million %. You're supposed to go down this direction. You are almost forced into this direction because of this 9 of Wands situation here. It's like, very clearly that's the path you need to go down, Scorpio. But it's like, as you're going down the path, there's a lot of triggers, there's a lot of memories, there's a lot of like flashbacks. It's just a lot of I get just a lot of things that resemble the past and things that did not work out, old cycles that did not end well, that made you feel bad, that triggered negative emotion in you. You're going down this path and there's like a disconnect. It's really tricky to navigate it because it feels like there's landmines all over the path, that each landmine is like a bad memory, a bad experience, a flashback, a negative emotion, and so it's tricky to navigate this new path that you're going down because it's just full of triggers. But Spirit's saying it's the path that you're meant to go down. You're supposed to walk down this path. The challenge, the disconnect, is one side of you is being triggered because of all of this, rightfully so. But the tricky part is you are supposed to continue down this path and transform. I wanted to say transform those situations, but because they happened in the past, it's more of transforming the way that you perceive what happened, transforming, changing, realizing a new perspective, a new understanding, a new lesson from these past situations. So as you're going down this path that's meant for you, it's aligned with all of these triggers because these are things that you've never reconciled with inside of yourself, things that you have not forgiven other people or yourself for. These are things, and like when I say things, I mean memories, past situations that you still emotionally are holding some kind of energy for, and it's time for you to address that energy and take everything you've learned up to this point to look at that energy again with different glasses, to understand what happened in a different way, to finally extract the lesson that you need to learn from that situation. It's almost like you went through all these different cycles and experiences, but you didn't have the learning. For you, Scorpio, it's odd because it's like most people go through karmic situations that keep happening until they get the lesson out of it, right? Until they finally get the learning from it. What I'm getting from this is there were multiple karmic situations that you went through. You never got stuck in them. They never repeated for you because you were meant to have that karmic experience, and those experiences were meant to occur, and then you were meant to, live life, right? And then it brought you to this point where now you're being forced to look at those karmic experiences and get all the lessons at a single moment from multiple karmic experiences right now, instead of learning them individually and then moving on to a new karmic one and then another karmic one because I've learned this lesson. It's like, no, you maybe have learned some lessons, absolutely, but it's like Spirit put you through all these moments and situations, and then they took you out of it before you completely grasped the lesson you were meant to learn. And they did it on purpose because you're meant to have a realization of all of those learnings compiled together into one moment, and that moment is this path. Walking down this path is triggering all of these things that are forcing you to take the life you've had, the life you've lived, the lessons, the healing, the understanding that you've gained from the time it happened till now, and it's like it's forcing you to apply all of that when you look at these past cycles, relationships, experiences. It wants you to look at all this karmic stuff that you maybe not have totally learned the lesson on or totally released the energy for, and it's like you're on the perfect path, but it's tricky because you cannot go down this path that you're meant to go down unless you successfully navigate. You can't avoid the landmines. You have to learn how to step on it, disarm it, release it, move to the next one, right? You want to be able to, it's almost like you learned how to disarm the landmines through just experiences throughout life. And now the landmines are here, and now you have to actually apply all those different pieces that you've learned in the past. When you put those pieces together, it tells you how to disarm this landmine. And now you have to get all those pieces that you've learned together to disarm the landmine. Otherwise, the landmine could be the end of you. It could send you backwards. It's preventing you from going down the path you need to go down, Scorpio. Very complex energy there, and I hope you follow me on this, because I just keep getting an energy of, it's like most people, using the landmine analogy here, you cannot graduate from the school until you successfully disarm a landmine, and we're going to teach you step by step how to do that, and then you're going to have a practice run, and you either pass or fail. And then if you pass, you graduate because now you know how to disarm a landmine. It's like that is typically how it works. But for you, Scorpio, it's like the way that Spirit put you through this was like, we're going to scatter the steps up. We're not going to teach you step 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to teach you step 4, 2, 1, 3. And it's going to seem really incoherent while you're learning it, but you are going through and you're learning these disorganized steps, but we're not even going to tell you what it is that you're actually learning. We just know that you're going to get this information. Like, we're going to teach you the steps in a disorganized way, and we're not going to tell you what the steps lead up to. We're just going to make sure that we're teaching you the different steps at different times, and then we're going to go ahead and let you leave the school. We're going to graduate you. You did a great job. Way to go, Scorpio. Good job. You can leave the school. But because you don't know why you learned what you learned, it's like you kind of wandered around because you're like, well, I feel like I learned a lot, but I have no idea how to apply it or what it is that I actually learned. And then you get to this moment where it's almost like you had to be forced onto the right path before it could be revealed to you. Otherwise, you would be trying to apply the things that you've learned on the wrong path, and it could lead to way worse situations or longer, whatever, it could not do good things. So it's like we had to teach you the steps in a way that you did not know what it was that we were teaching you, because if you knew, you would apply it to the wrong situations. You would apply it to the wrong path and maybe trick yourself into thinking you're on the right path. You're pursuing the right thing when really you're not. So we had to keep it hidden from you what exactly you were learning. But now that you're on the right path, Scorpio, now that you're on the right path, the clarity is coming in as you look at this landmine and you're like, oh, why do I have the feeling that I learned how to disarm this? And then you start thinking about all the things that you learned, even though the steps were all disorganized. Then it starts to come into full understanding for you of oh, I learned how to disarm a landmine. And now that I'm on this path that I feel like I need to be on, that is right for me, and I see all these landmines, now I can start to apply everything that I've learned, and now I understand and know what I've learned. Now I can actually use it, and it's like it builds your confidence on one hand, because it's like, I know how to do this. I've never done it, but I know how to do it. And this path has plenty of landmines for me to practice on, but I definitely know how to do this. So now you're going through and you're disarming these landmines, right? The reason why it's tricky is because I feel like at the beginning of the path, when you first start down this path, you're stepping on these landmines and you're not realizing that they're landmines, right? Because you're not expecting it. And it's very triggering, okay? It's very triggering. It makes you want to run the opposite way. It makes you want to not continue down the path because you're like, what the fuck was that? It was an explosion. I don't know why that happened. It didn't feel good. I don't want that to happen again. Oh my God, there's a second one that happened. I can't even predict how many there are. This is an unsafe area. I'm going to go the other way. But Spirit's like helping you and kind of pushing you more and more, like, no, you can't, like, don't change paths. Like, this is the path you need to go down. So as many times as you're hitting these landmines, Scorpio, and you're getting the feeling of like, I want to go back. I want to go down a different path. I need to look at other options. Every time you do that, it's like Spirit comes in and reconfirms something for you to assure you this is the right path. Keep going down this path, Scorpio. Do not change direction. It's scary, it's unpredictable, but do not change direction. And you're like, fuck, okay, here we go. Let's hope we don't run into another landmine. But after hitting maybe 2 or 3 landmines, that's when you start to like almost remember some of these steps that you've learned previously, like coming forward, and you're like, why do I kind of feel like I know how to do this and like I know how to do that? I kind of remember experiencing this, and maybe I should apply it. Like, should I apply what I think I kind of remember learning to this? And there's that moment of questioning yourself, but then it's like, okay, forget it. Like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to do it. And you step on the landmine. You know there's a landmine there. You know there's a landmine there. But instead of running from it or trying to outrun it, you step on it, you trigger it, and then you disarm it because you remember the things that you've learned up until this point. You handle it a different way than what your instincts, your fear, your memory is telling you to handle it. You're like, no, I feel like I know the steps, how to do this. I just got to put the steps in order in my mind, right? I got to organize the steps, but I feel that I know the steps. And you disarm the landmine and you take your foot off and it's like, oh my gosh, it didn't explode. It actually is good. Everything's good. And there is a moment, I feel, that after you disarm the landmine where you're still kind of expecting like, okay, I'm going to slowly walk away from this, but I feel like it's going to explode. Like, is it going to explode? Like, you're just waiting for it to explode, but like nothing explodes because you disarmed it successfully, right? And it's at that moment where you disarm that first landmine with the knowledge that you've already had and learned, you just didn't know what it was that you learned exactly, that you begin to look at this path as the way it should be looked at. A path that will lead you to success, to abundance, to fulfillment, to happiness, to enjoyment, to your future that you've always wanted. Then you can look at the path and clearly see, like, I am excited to go down this path. This is fun because now you know if a landmine comes up, if I accidentally step on another one, I know how to disarm it. I don't have to worry about, that's no longer a fear. I know how to disarm it. I know how to go through my path and not get blown to bits. I know how to disarm it. So now I can actually embrace and be excited about my path. And that's the tricky energy here, Scorpio. And I hope you follow that analogy. I really hope you do because it's very clear to me and I'm just hoping I'm articulating it in a very clear way for you. It is really good energy. Very, very good energy. And if you see in this card, he has a sword in one hand and the butterfly in the other hand. And that is the decision that you have to make. That is the courage and the strength that you have to move forward with. The sword is, I'm going to retreat, I'm going to defend, I'm going to detach, I'm going to cut it off. And the butterfly is, I'm going to transform. I'm going to allow the catalyst to occur. I am going to over ascend this. I'm going to change the way that this works. Okay? I'm not running from it. But I'm also remaining in this light-hearted energy, this open, excited new energy. Okay? I'm not getting hard and cold like a sword. I'm going to remain light and open and free while I go down this path. But that is what I see with that was a lot. And I was worried because I'm like, I'm not getting more messages. I need more messages. But it's like, no, just baby, start talking and we will give you what you need to know. Okay? So a lot of that was channeled if you did not realize. This is a really awesome path. I'm really excited for you guys. If energetically, yeah, it feels kind of anxious and very like a lot of hesitancy. Like if you notice, like Spirit has a way of just showing things, don't they? When I grabbed this card, because I could not get more information on the energy, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to come back to it. Like I wanted to walk away from it. I didn't want to read the card because I'm like, I can't get a clear reading on it. And the little bit of information I am getting, I don't know that it's right. I can't tell that it actually applies. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not getting more information to make it make sense, right? So I'm like, I'm just going to walk away from that card. We'll come back. The second I did that, they were like, no, do not walk away. Read the card. And it's like, fuck, okay. Like, I'll share what little bit of information I did pick up on. But the second that I started to share that, the information just kept flooding in. The more I talked, the more channeled messages came through. And that's literally what this path is for you, Scorpio. You're going to feel like, I'm going to come back to that path later. I'll walk down it later. It's kind of iffy right now. It's unpredictable. I'm not sure. It feels off maybe. I don't know. I'll come back to it later. And Spirit's saying, don't you dare come back to this path later. It won't be here later, okay? It will not be a path forever. You're on the path at the right time because this is the time for you to walk down it. You walk away now, it may not be there when you come back. You may lose this opportunity. It may not be here anymore if you walk away. Do not walk away. That is, and it literally acted out in exactly the way that I even read the card. Okay, Scorpio? So that is the energy for that card. Then when we look at the Eight of Pentacles, I don't get hard work from this. I mean, yes, there's hard work happening, right? I definitely feel like there was a lot of hard work put into it. But the main energy here I get is perfecting my craft. I have finally done so many pentacles. I have created so many wheels. You know, I have done something so many times that I've mastered it. It's something that I can do without even thinking about at this point. That's the energy I get from this. And I feel like it's those landmines, Scorpio. I got a little ahead of myself when channeling the messages for this card. So it's gonna dip into some of these two cards here because I did a little bit more channeling than I should have for this card. So it's comes together, okay? This energy I strongly am feeling like this is the landmines. This is the landmines for you. You finally figured out how to disarm the landmines. You've learned the trade. You've done it many times. You've practiced and you've failed many times. You've put a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, a lot of time into figuring something out, even though you don't know or you did not realize that what you were figuring out is how to disarm a landmine. You had no idea that's what you were doing. But you stayed dedicated. You stayed working hard. You stayed, persevering, just continuously trying every day, regardless of the challenge, regardless of the hardship. And then not even knowing, like, where is this going to take me? Where is this going? I don't know, but I feel like I need to figure this out, right? I'm going to put everything into it to figure it out. That is paying off for you, Scorpio, because now you have perfected everything that you need to for this path. And so this is everything coming back around to you. All your hard work paying off, all your efforts paying off. Finally seeing the end result of everything that you've done up until this point, all that hard work you put in is finally paying off for you. Not just with finances, but with stability, with owning your craft, with being able to go down the path that you've always wanted to go down, that you didn't even know existed for you. Being able to go down that path, whereas other people, they never could do that because they never put the time, the effort, and energy into learning all of these different things the way you did, okay? And then we end with the Four of Pentacles. And for me, this is ultimate stability. This card always gives me greed vibes, though, because of his face. But the energy that I pick up off of this is like, as you are walking down this path, this is almost like a representation of you, where it's like every step you take, there is more award, there is more coins, there is more, outcome, recognition, bonuses, incentive. Like there's like you cannot take a step without there just being a pile of everything you've wanted right there for you. Okay, it's like this is that path. Once you get past the landmines, you just have an abundance of everything that you've ever wanted. It's just right there. But there is a warning with this card, and that's why I think I picked up really heavy on his face and like that greed mentality, because the warning here, it's like it's a great thing, but at the same time, the warning here is do not become greedy. Do not lose sight of where you came from. Do not change your character and who you are. Do not divert away from the person you are that got you to this opportunity, that got you on this path, that had spirit backing you up, that you put the hard work in, the long nights. Don't forget who you are, and don't change who you are for anyone or anything, okay? Because there's still going to be tests that show up. There's still going to be hardships and things like that. So they're asking you, yes, you are going to fall into a lot of abundance, but do not get greedy. Don't forget who you are. Don't look down on the people that are not there yet, okay? You were just there. Don't forget that. Do not think that you are more than or higher than or better than, okay? Stay humble. Stay humble. Okay, we're going to handle this the same way we did the last reading. I'm going to ask Spirit if there is any timelines that they want me to outline before we move into the clarifiers, because I feel like I'm supposed to use this timeline deck for the March readings. This is an awesome, awesome, awesome March reading, guys. Awesome March reading, okay? Is there any time that I need to clarify? Is there any times that I need to clarify for Scorpio in March? They want me to clarify, when do you find the path? When are you finding the path? Show me the King of Swords. When is Scorpio? Oh, nope, sorry. Scratch that. Delete, 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 delete. Show me the Knight of Wands, because that's the card that really represents. The King of Swords is you going down the path and having to navigate it. But the Knight of Swords, or the Knight of Wands, is you being very sure and happily running down a path that you're guided to. Show me the Knight of Wands. When does Scorpio find their path? When is Scorpio finding their path? Show me the Knight of Wands. Yeah, because the weird thing is I'm not getting like a strong timeline on any of these, but I get a strong timeline for the Nine of Wands, like whatever the situation is that you just want to run a million miles from. I heavily get that this is what's happening in March. I definitely pick up March energy for this. Like in March is when you're seeing something that you're just like, I want nothing to do with it. And that's what is going to lead you and like affirm you. This is the path that you should be going down, right? Take option B. So it's like in March, you're definitely for sure realizing option A is a terrible option that you don't want. And option B is exactly where you want to go. But I feel like they're having me clarify it because maybe not all of you are realizing option B is the right option for you in March. You're just realizing option A is definitely not the right option, okay? Show me Knight of Wands. When does Scorpio find the path? When is Scorpio finding their path? Show me Knight of Wands. When does Scorpio find their path? Show me the Knight of Wands. When is Scorpio finding their path? At the holidays, we'll get one more. When does Scorpio find their path? Look at that, next month. Is there a holiday next month? There's no holidays in March, right? At least not where I'm at in the United States. There's no holidays in March. Maybe it's April. I think there's Easter in April. Is Easter in April? I'm pretty sure it is. Then you have April Fools and then Easter. So some of you, this energy might leak into April as far as like finding the path. Some of that energy might leak into April before you actually realize like, okay, option B is definitely the right path for me, right? For some of you, it's absolutely happening in March. For others of you, it might not be until April. I'm trying to see if they give me anything, but I just keep hearing March. May, April, May. Some of you might be May. What's in May? Memorial Day? I think Memorial Day is in May. Okay, there you go. Sooner than expected on the bottom of the deck here. Anything else we need to clarify for Scorpio? Timeline-wise. They want me to clarify how long until you start to be in the Eight of Pentacles here, where you're perfecting the landmines, right? Show me the timeline. When does Scorpio master the craft of navigating the landmines? When does that energy come in for Scorpio? When do they truly master how to navigate their path? Okay. In February and in the spring. So what that lets me know is that some of you are actually mastering the landmines this month. Even though you're not on the path, some of you are wrapping up the last lessons that you truly need to understand and learn. And then you're going to get on this path and it's like, I'm already a master. Like you're starting the path as a master. So if you remember how I said like those first 2 or 3 landmines, you know, you might step on them and it doesn't feel good and you're like, what is this? Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to move towards this. I don't want to keep going. Some of you are stepping on those landmines on your way to the path, okay? It's like leading up to the path. There's a couple landmines on the way to the path. And so you guys are actually figuring out how to disarm those landmines before you even reach the actual path itself. And then others of you, you're going to start on this path, and it's in the springtime is technically May, like April, May, right? That's probably when spring ends, is definitely May, because then we go into the summertime. Interestingly enough, that aligns with when you will start on your path. So for some of you, it's definitely April, May that you're starting, that you find your path. And at the same time that you're finding your path is the same time that you're really mastering how to disarm these landmines. So I don't want you guys to have any fear. It's kind of like, I feel like that's why they wanted me to clarify this. The same exact time that you are starting your path is the same exact time that you have mastered how to use your skills to disarm these landmines. It's just a matter of realizing, I do know how to disarm these landmines. Like, you have to realize and accept and be confident, I know how to disarm this. So I can keep going down this path because I do know how to handle this. I know how to disarm this. But you have to accept that you can do that, right? You have to be confident enough to actually do it. But there's definitely a synchronicity here. You are mastering the perfection of disarming those landmines at the same time that you're finding the path, okay? So you're set up. You are set up for success, Scorpio, okay? Any other things that I need to clarify for Scorpio? When does the abundance come in? They said that nice and clear within a year at the bottom of the deck as I heard that. Show me for Scorpio, when does Scorpio's abundance come in? When does the abundance come in for Scorpio? That's always a question we want to know, right? When does the abundance come in for Scorpio? I'm going to tell you now, they're letting me know at the same time, we don't need to... Happening now, Scorpio. Okay. So some of you really are like finding the path and then moving on to it, like literally March. Like it's almost like you're closing out this energy and very quickly, like it's a strong, like, okay, March 1 is a go. We're on the path, right? But it's saying like you're already experiencing that abundance. I think just by realizing what path you don't want to go down, even if you don't know what the right path is for you, you will energetically start to align with that path, even if you're not consciously aware of it. Okay? And just becoming energetically aligned with that path will begin to manifest the abundance for you. It won't be like the way it is later where you're stepping into riches, right? It's like, but you might slowly feel the tides changing where you're not struggling as much. You don't have to cut back on your spending as much. Your bills are getting paid. Money's kind of coming in from different places. It's slow to start, but once it starts and that energy is there, it keeps going, right? And then we also have April on the bottom of the deck. So again, April, May is when some of you are actually finding the path and starting it and you know, taking down those landmines. That's the same time that the abundance is going to start. It's like simultaneously everything happens at the same time. You find the path, you perfect disarming landmines, and the abundance comes in. It's like once you align to this, everything comes in at the same time. Everything happens at the same time, but you're ready for it. That's what they just told me. You're ready for it. You are ready for it. Don't be intimidated by everything happening simultaneously. That's actually a very good thing, okay? It means you're definitely 100% on the right path, and that's how you know you're on the right path, because everything just starts to go really, really good for you, right? And so this is letting you know, Scorpio, it will all happen at the exact same time. And when it does, it is a sudden shift, a sudden, immediate turnaround. You will feel it. You will recognize it. You will know something's different. Everything is different. You know, one day it's this, the next day it's something totally different here. Okay, Scorpio? So some of you, that is absolutely happening in March. For some of you, that maybe it takes you a little longer to truly see like that option A is not for you. That energy could go more into that April. I don't feel like it's like end of May. I feel like if it goes into April, it's like the last week of April with the energy heading into May. I really don't feel like you guys would go into May though. I just don't feel that energy. I don't feel like you would move into May with this energy. This will happen before May, okay? Anything else that I need to clarify for Scorpios? Hearing like, when do they need to know how long it will take? When do they need to know how long it will take? What does that mean? When do they need to know how long it will take? Okay, what I'm hearing is, when do they need to know how long it will take them to succeed? They need to just believe. So the beginning part of that is a little muffled. Muffled as in like it's not coming through totally clear, but what they're trying to say, what Spirit is trying to let me know, you don't need to know how long it will take, because I feel like some of you Scorpios are very analytical and you're like, I want to know exact dates and times. When am I finding the path? When am I mastering the craft? When is the abundance? Like, I want to know dates, okay? I want to know order. And I feel like that's why they're trying to say it all happens at the exact same time. You will notice. Because Scorpio, they don't want you to look for exact dates. It's like you just need to, right now, you just need to be in an energy of believing that you can do this, that you will be on your path. You can do this. And you will receive reward and abundance from it, okay? It's like you need to believe in that. There needs to be more energy from you that is believing this will happen for you than there is questioning the exact timeline, okay? I don't know why I'm getting that, and I'm getting like a really bad headache. So for some of you, it's very much like, okay, I picked up on the energy, like let it go. So for some of you, with the headache, I feel like it's like, do not overthink this. Yeah, that was definitely the message, because the second I said it, the headache went away. Don't overthink this. Don't start looking at every path and being like, is that the right path? Is that the right path? Is that where my abundance is? Is that a landmine? Should I, disarm that? How do I disarm it? What have I learned? It's like, do not start reeling your mind like crazy after watching this. Do what you're doing. Everything that you're doing right now is exactly how you are going to get to where you need to be. If you start dramatically shifting and changing and questioning and wondering and looking at all these things in a new way, in a different way, and like all this, worrying and anxiety, it's like that's going to delay everything. It's going to be painful moving through the process, until you get where you need to be. They're telling me, do not overthink this. You just need to believe. Just believe and know that it will happen for you, and it will. Simple as that. But don't go trying to figure out the timeline and the right path and who's that person I should stay away from. What path is A that I want to avoid? It's like, you're not meant to avoid it. You're meant to confront this because it's triggering you to go in the right direction. Don't try to avoid that, okay? It's going to happen. You're going to see it, and you'll know that's not for me. And at that moment, as soon as I said it said golden bells. So at that moment, you might shortly after see golden bells. I'm seeing like the Christmas bells, like the 2 gold bells, like the little Christmas bells that are on wreaths and stuff. So it's like you might see that, or you might hear those bells. Something will happen with bells for some of you, and that's your indicator of, you just realize that that's not the path for you, and you are well on your way and on the right path to get where you need to be, okay? So don't stress, don't worry, just believe and know, and keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is what's getting you there. Scorpio, that is all. Look at that. You can't lie. It says in divine timing, okay? In divine timing. You know what in divine timing translates to? Timing that Scorpio will not have. Okay? You will not know. I will not know. No reader will know when it's going to happen for you. Only in divine timing will it happen, which means only spirit knows. But you affect divine timing, because divine timing also means when it is the right time, it will happen. If you start stressing and getting anxious and questioning everything around you, you are fucking up divine timing, because you are essentially like delaying the plan. Not that you're like fucking it up, but you're just delaying it. You're making it take longer than it needs to take. You're pushing the process back by doing that. By getting into that energy, you're pushing everything back. You're delaying it. Okay? Divine timing happens faster when you don't think about it. When you stay in a high vibration, when you stay optimistic, you keep doing what you're doing, you listen to your intuition, follow where you feel guided to follow, okay? That's how you get divine timing to happen faster than later, okay? You do what you need to do without asking all these questions and trying to figure things out and confusing and getting anxious and, whatever else energy, okay? I don't know why they're telling me to look at that this month. It's happening. It's here, Scorpio, okay? So just stay in a good energy. Do some energy clearing work. Start a new project. Distract yourself. If you start to get too anxious and start to question and think, start a new project. Pick something up to distract yourself so that you're not influencing what's happening here. But Scorpio, that is all that I have for you for your March reading. If you guys are one of the top 3 signs that have the most for their monthly reading in February, then you will get a March bonus. So if you want a March bonus, just make sure you are watching and liking that February video. Otherwise, if you don't get a March bonus, I'll see you on some all signs or pick a cards or something like that. But your next monthly reading will be for April. Okay, guys, Thank you so much for your energy, allowing me to tap into it. I hope this helped. Like, share, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Comments are awesome. Help support the channel. You know, I enjoy doing this for you guys, and so I hope that you're also enjoying the messages that I give you. Scorpio, have a great March, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.